A student came to see me for a lesson a couple of weeks ago, really suffering with the first part of the golf swing being the takeaway. They were taking the club back ever so slightly strangely. They were starting off with this little bit of a wrist hinge here, bringing those hands very close, causing that club face to get quite close, bowing at the wrist, and then this caused him then to push the club out in front of him from getting the club so close to him, and then topping the golf ball, shanking the golf ball, you name it. So what we did in the lesson was a brand new takeaway drill that I've never used before that works wonders to his game. So for those of you who are new to the channel, I'd highly recommend watching to the very end of the video and clicking that subscribe button if you would like to see more content like this one you're about to watch. And why not drop a comment down below with a tips or drills video topic you'd like me to cover next. So to begin with, what you'll notice on the right hand side of the screen here is my student Lewis, and what he was having the tendency of doing just to begin that golf swing was this little bit of wrist movement taking place where that club head becomes very close to the body like so, causing the hands to get into this very much so bowed position at this point here. And we've been working on more of a bowed action in the past as opposed to getting this extended wrist position, because bowed is much better than extended with the wrist positions. If you're not too familiar with this, that's absolutely fine. Bowed allows us then to get more shaft lean, so therefore more compression on our irons. If we get more extension and then forward the hands, it's no good. What's leading the race there? The hosel is going to be making contact with the golf ball. So why then were we noticing these poor strikes from this takeaway move? Well, this takeaway move was causing his hands to get very close to the body. Then once he'd reached the top of his swing, we've been working on this lovely shallow downswing. And as he's rotating, the club's then going to want to push out. So what we've got to do instead is we had to get him controlling this move on the way back, getting him to almost push his hands further away, limit this wrist movement in his takeaway to help him set the club in a much more reliable position, and then he could shallow it on the way down beautifully. I'm not going to be talking a lot about the downswing move or for the rest of the backswing, so I'm going to be leaving those two videos at the very end. So once you've watched this one, I'd highly recommend watching the ones that I show you at the very end. So what we did just to begin with, obviously we had a look and saw a couple of shots, and there was something that I wanted to check in particular, and that was what was causing this movement in the first place. We know that we were getting this weird movement to start the golf swing, but what was it? Was it the lead arm, lead hand or wrist causing this movement, or was it the trail arm or hand or wrist causing that movement? So what I did straight away was this simple drill. I've done a load of takeaway drills in the past using alignment sticks, using different training aids, but this one you don't need a training aid whatsoever. I just simply got him taking his lead hand and placing it over his right hand. So you can see there, obviously for a right-handed player like myself, the right hand would go on top of the left when we grip the club like this here. But I got him just to swap the hands over, okay? And swapping the hands over did something. It stopped this movement happening as we took the club back, because what we found was his right wrist was getting this movement to take place. So if we could calm down this movement, getting the left hand over the right hand, that made it so much easier for him just to take the club back, understand what that feeling was to him, and for him it just felt like he was just literally moving the shoulders to this position here, way more out in front of us, club face more in a reliable position, and you can see how much more controlled my hands are as we take the club back to begin that golf swing. Same thing with the videos here as we're working on this motion. So we didn't practice any golf shots whatsoever cack-handed like this, but what we got him doing was making a couple of swings back and forth, just back to this point. Just before we give this a try of a full swing, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to GX Golf, the sponsors to the channel. They provide high quality golf clubs for a fraction of the price in comparison to the rest of the glove manufacturers on the market. I'd highly recommend checking them out. They do great bundle packages of 3, 6 and 9, and you can use my discount code below, Harry10, to get yourself a great 10% off them as well. So once you've figured out what that feels like to you, whatever body part is starting that movement for you, you could then swap your hands over the correct way to hit the golf ball. And just to begin with, we just started hitting a few shots, back and forth, really trying to get that same sensation on the way back. And we did notice ever so slightly of a little forward press and then pushing the club away like this here a little bit on a couple, just as he was getting used to this. But it was less obvious. And there you go. So that's just obviously like a little chip shot, just laying up here on this par 4. I wouldn't be doing that usually, of course, but this is just building up into those full swings. And after a couple of shots, we went back to cack-handed, so left over right, just taking the club back and through. Getting this feeling, making those bigger swings doing this. And you can see there, it completely stops any unwanted wrist movement. So again, the pitching swing, just taking it up to the top and through, almost where this lead arm gets parallel to the ground. Let's see what that looks like. Really nice little draw. I didn't realise my 7-iron would go that far doing that. If I knew that, I would have hit something like a pitching wedge. But then building this up into full swings, same again, just taking this back a couple more times. And let's see if I can make that full swing doing this. So the same feeling just to that point there, and then the rest of the swing stays the same. That was nice. I'll take that shot any day of the week. And just that simply then, all I was thinking about in my swing was just that feeling of left over right, taking the club back, but obviously doing it the right way to hit some golf shots. And you'll be able to see these two videos either side of me. This one here is the before video, and this one here is the after video. You can see this one on the left-hand side of your screen here, where we do notice the club obviously push a little bit out, but there is no unwanted wrist movement in that golf swing. So we noticed much better ball striking, more consistency, and he went out and played some really, really good golf afterwards. It even improved his tee shots. This will work for the driver as well. So if you've enjoyed the video, I'd highly recommend checking one of these two out over here. The first one at the top, looking more into detail, more about the rest of the backswing. How can we take this movement up to the very top of the backswing, and the bottom one covering a little bit more detail on the downswing. And stay tuned, as I'm going to be revealing very soon my first ever downswing course. If you're someone at the moment who thinks you're suffering with the downswing, I've got everything you need in one simple course. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.